So, good evening, everyone. We're having another World Cup game. Sorry for the echo. Another World Cup game. This is a French crab player against Philippines Phoenix player. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in the game a bit late. I was having, what's called the live. And so the matchup is on one side a pretty traditional crab deck, and on the other side we have glory-based Isawamori Saito deck with Unicorn Splash. So both players are on the Unicorn Splash. I think this matchup is usually in favor of the Phoenix player here. We're gonna have like a really quick look through the list if I can find it. It's World Cup round 3. Phoenix against Crab. Yeah, of course I want to see the deck list. So on the Phoenix side, we have Azunami, which is interesting, Suki, 2 Fire Tensei Initiate, 3 Fushishers, 2 Haoti Magistrate, that's going to be a problem for Crab, 3 Kudakas, 2 Nation, Tsukune Yojimbo, and Scholar. We see no Boston Academy. 1 Assassination, 1 Banzai, 3 Against the Waves, 2 Bentens, Clarity, 2 Good Omen, 2 Tario Jirai. So it's better for the Crab not to play any Shugenjas. 1 Way of the Phoenix, interesting one. 2 1 Invocation, 2 Spyglass, 2 Talisman, and 2 Wayfinder as a splash. And on the Crab side, it's just like the pretty traditional one with Charge as a restricted rather than rebuild. And we have a cheeky Spreading the Darkness, 1 of Assassination going with the Way of the Crab. We have 1 Engaging Custom in the Unicorn Splash, only 1 Tetsubo and not 2. And there it is. We have a few Crisis Breaker also, which is interesting. So back to the game. I'm sorry, jumping in is a bit difficult. I've missed quite a lot of the game. So Phoenix here has Kanjo, but no favor. I guess it's because he used the Kanjo already, I would say. Let me check that. Oh yeah, and Phoenix has Frostbitten. No, he hadn't used the Kanjo. Phoenix also has Frostbitten Crossing as a province, which is really annoying for Crab, because like that just get rid of all your attachments. Like this sounds a very solid deck against Crab. Just the magistrates being able to attack and totally neglect your characters in defense. I'm just gonna send a small alert to tell interested people that the match is being streamed. Actually, it's streamed already by Eric. Just gonna shut the stream down then. He's streaming 2 at a time? Oh, that's interesting. Oh no, okay. I'm saying said nothing. Just messing up the matches. So we do have Crab going with Vanguard Warrior here. Military Conflict Air. Oh, okay, sorry, he's defending. So Phoenix going with the Shiba Yojimbo Air against the Crab player. I guess that makes sense, he's at 7. Earth would probably still be more interesting here, honestly. Like I understand he might be afraid about the Watch Commander kicking in at some point. And having an honor buffer allows you to be able to play more cards into Watch Commander if you want. But that's definitely not a good habit anyway. So call the mine on the Shuichi, which is good because no covet. Yeah, I also think I also think you need to get that frostbitten crossing down to be able to play your attachments. Like as long as it's gonna exist because of the talisman on the Phoenix player, it's going to be too risky as a crab player to attack because he can with characters that have attachments because he can send you back onto the frostbitten and have you discarding all attachments from your character. Not sure I like that cloud on the Shuichi actually because now you can go on the frostbitten crossing with the Shuichi. And if your opponent just discards the spyglass, well, it has triggered already. Well, it's going to be a loss for you anyway, but the spyglass has triggered already, and the cloud is going to go away because frostbitten discards all attachments. So Shuichi will have this ability back, and if you keep it into the next turn with the mine or the vanguard, then you're going to have the ability for next turn and the covert. He decides to try the counter though. He has political left, so that's good because if he can break the counter, that's a huge threat away from you. He's still in a good position to get the favor though, so maybe I would have tried to break the frostbitten crossing rather than a conjure. That would also get you rid of the library, which is probably a good thing. And it's also easier to break than a 6 strength province. If Phoenix doesn't get the favor, conjure is a liability. Okay, this Goodman discarded by Earth. Yeah, French player forgot to trigger Vanguard. Yeah, that's what I said should bet. And an interest, I mean, I don't know if it's the best choice, but like you could attack on the frostbitten crossing, just to have the cloud removed from your Shuichi. It also removed the spyglass though, so I'm not sure it's a good choice. I agree, but could be a way to get rid of the cloud if you want to. Forgetting the vanguard there is pretty bad. His opponent's answer clearly showing that he doesn't intend to let him take that back. Well, I guess you can't play that Witch Hunter. So you'll probably go, yeah, for the Kisada. And then maybe for the Yasuki to get a bit more card draw. On the Phoenix side, we see Tsuki to Fate. Did the Crab play Assassination? Not yet. That's a risky Tsuki. I mean, he has 14 honor. She could get assassinated very easily. We saw Phoenix discarding the Kanjo into the palace. So that's a bit sad, but it's good for the Crab player that it happened this way. Crab passes, so he didn't play the Yasuki. Yeah, I also agree should have asked for the take back on Vanguard because like that's obviously just it's something that would never happen in real life. Well, at least very rarely. It's much easier to miss on the online version of the game. So Crab has the favor military here, but he has a pretty small board. Much punchier than the Phoenix one, though. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that it's a pretty easy mistake to do on the online version. Kiseda going in on the rally. I guess you don't worry too much about the talisman here, because he's not gonna move you into the frostbitten. Kiseda firing. Okay, interesting. Probably wants to disorder your Jimbo, I would say. Maybe Tsuki, because she's gonna stay in play. But Tsuki can re-honor herself pretty easily, so dishonoring her might not be the best thing to do. There was a fate on that ring, though, which probably motivated the choice. A crab honor, fate, and hand size. Well, hand size is pretty equal, but honor and fate are hugely in crab favor. That's unfortunate going to Sanpuku Seido with the talisman. So yeah, you see part of the game plan here, like sending everything to Sanpuku Seido, which crab will have very hard time to break because a lot of his characters have very low glory. Kinda disagree with this assassination, especially because of the Yojimbo. I think that's a mistake from the crab player. He totally forgot about the Yojimbo trigger, which many players do. Hi, Eric. Yep, the blank moment after that kinda showed that it's a mistake. What do you do here as Phoenix? You go. I'm not sure about the political wager on the Stellite. That would just, yeah, that would stand on Onotsuki, so it's good. But if you just get the air thing, like, especially Crab is keeper of water, so maybe you don't want to give him more fate. Just go Earth, try to get your Solemn Scholar online so that you can bow a potential attack from Crab. Finding a Holding Authority, okay. It's not a Crab here because like you kind of feel compelled to defend that to get the fate and not having Tsuki stand because then she's gonna stand honored and it's gonna be quite punchy. It's a military conflict left, so you will have Yojimbo, 4 strength for the Phoenix player. And as Crab, you. Oh, Mountain does not fall, so that Shruti will be able to attack. That's good for the Crab player here. So that defense actually cost him just a fate and a card, which is good. And he will be able to attack afterwards. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I said like water wasn't too good here, because as Crab, you're more than happy to defend it and gain a fate. Earth was as interesting as water and wouldn't have given Crab a fate. So I guess you just smash again into that trolley with Shruti, and you take Earth. You can probably also take Void and get rid of the naive student, because then the Phoenix board is pretty tiny and yours is going to be bigger and bigger. That could be a good call too. Going air is something I do not totally agree with. I understand he wants to put pressure on the Phoenix player so that he has to be worried about the Watch Commander late in zone. I think none of the 3 have been played. One of the 3 have been played, sorry. So, yeah, there is 3 of those, right? Yeah, 3 Watch Commander, obviously. We see Phoenix defending with everything, which makes sense because he can't use the knife student anyway to attack military afterwards. And if he defends only with 2 political strength, it's highly possible that Crab could break. And now Crab is losing the ring. Which doesn't matter too much because he loses the favor anyways, but we see a clarity of purpose so that the Yojimbo doesn't bow, and now Yojimbo is going to attack military really after that. Yeah, It's not just the raw shoot, it's like the deck itself. Yeah, exactly. Having Haughty Magistrate just demonstrates how much he hates Crab. Against the Waves on Tsuki, that's quite a lot of strength going in there. 6, 7 into the garden. Yeah, that sounds rather impossible to defend for Crab unless he has a fight on. Fight on Suichi would allow him to save the province. Yeah, oh, on Kisada, okay, interesting. That Kisada choice might be a tell that he has a different new honor and he wants to use it potentially to cancel some events played by Phoenix. We see a Karana. And we see one on Kisada. Oh yeah, it's military, so I don't know why I was thinking it was political. Obviously, Kisada defending is much better than Shuichi when it's military. So Phoenix has already expanded 2 of the 3 cloud domains, right? Yeah. We see another Spyglass. I guess the idea is just to avoid it being discarded by Earth. Um, bit weird though that you play. Oh yeah, he has a reprieve already. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't saw the reprieve being played. So Crab keeping both characters while Phoenix has like not much to oppose now. But he's gonna get the favor because of the Palace. I think you have to ditch the Palace as Phoenix here. Or the library, up to you, but you can't really afford to flip only 2 characters. Two new cards. Crab throws away everything. Trying to get something useful here. Okay, Phoenix goes for 2 cards only. I guess he plays Kudeka and extends Tsuki because he's first player. As Crab here, what do you play? Maybe the Borderland Defender and extend Shuichi? Yeah, probably. That's the best you have to do. 2 Iron Mines here are really good. You're gonna have to cover to prevent them from leaving play. Like you need to avoid them getting broken. And we see Kudeka for Phoenix and Crab plays a big Borderland Defender with 3 fates. Both players down to a bid 1. Phoenix has a much bigger hand because of the multiple Spyglass trigger, but Crab also still has Spyglasses on board, which Phoenix doesn't have anymore. Yeah, 2 Iron Mine happen, like it's not impossible. Also, they are not totally useful that turn. Well, it makes Void a bad choice, which is why I think Phoenix shouldn't have taken that ring here. It forces to use one of the 2 mines though. But Crab can also decide to defend that strongly and not care too much. That's an excellent one sheet. I like that joke. So yeah, I guess as Phoenix here, you just pass. You don't invest resources into that conflict. Did Phoenix play two of the talismans or no, only one? So that's something Crab has to be very worried about. Piling up attachment and then getting his characters redirected to Frostbitten Crossing would be absolutely terrible. Another spyglass into the Kissida now. It's going in, military water. Can't be sent to Crusader, so just go to the rally. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen for the next 5 turns. Like, does Phoenix have the next talisman or doesn't he have it? Yeah, it's true the French player is down on play time. Like he's almost 10 minutes down on his opponent. 23 minutes is still a lot, but might not be enough to close the game, given that they already played like, well, it's basically half of his time and he has taken one break. But it's enough to close the game now. Yeah, it's true, the Ochko, but the thing is like the game just doesn't have the same inertia during the first turns and the last ones. Like the more it lasts, the more likely it is to snowball very quickly into two breaks and the strongholds. Well, you don't know that because you're playing Dragon and you always take two break early, but Phoenix going air again, so he's really worried about his own auto total, given that there is still two Watch Commander for the crab player. That makes sense. It's really interesting to see spreading the darkness. Okay, he can totally afford that being a 12 honor. And we see the Sentry going down. Okay, I guess that's a good one. Allows to take the break. His crab doesn't have anything else to put into that conflict. Okay, fight him. So no second Sentry. Does he have only a single Sentry? No, it's free off. So, and I think that's the first one played. Yeah, it's the first one played. So there's two others. So 7 card in hand, no second Sentry, or he would have played it on the fight end for sure. No more conflict for anyone, I guess. The crab takes the favor. I think it's really good for crab having broken the palace here. It's quite bad having broken the rally though. Yeah, it's true. The box, no, box wouldn't have worked because like there were. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, it would have worked. Sorry, yeah, you're right. That would have been the correct play. So yeah, we see an envoy for crab, quite a bad flop, and Phoenix has a dreamer and a very good Maya Mystic here. It's good for the crab here that Phoenix doesn't have a much more interesting flop. Problem for Phoenix now is that Crab has 12 fate banked, so next turn could be a huge one for Crab if he has stuff to unleash. And the mines are going to keep him both the Kisada and the switch if he doesn't lose the mines. He's not putting rebuild though, so at some point those characters are going to leave the board. So what do you take here, Crab? Earth, I would say. You can also take fire because of the Morisaido ability. Like just to avoid Phoenix using it on some Dishonored characters for you, but I think Earth is better, yeah. So big military Earth attack on the unrevealed province, so that's the vassal field. He do not give a shit about that here. If you have a talisman as Phoenix here, you don't really want to play it, right? So that's the good time for Crab to try to force Phoenix to play the talisman, because your characters all have one fate. So redirecting an attack on with the talisman is obviously good, but then your talisman isn't going to play to remain in play very long. If Crab takes that vassal field break, then afterwards it's going to be pretty complicated to break something else. Probably trying the Sam. Oh, there we see the talisman. Okay, so he's gonna send him on to the Sam Crusader probably, unless he prefers to use the Frostbitten to get rid of the attachments. But I think that's the wrong play here. I think it's Sam Crusader where you go. Oh, it doesn't redirect. Okay, that's weird. That's really weird. I think that's a mistake. I think you have to redirect that to Sam Crusader because it doesn't break. Or maybe he wants to keep the talisman for the next conflict. Because now it's awkward for Crab to attack. He played it because it's Earth Ring, so he didn't want it to get discarded. Like it seems his deck relies heavily onto forcing people going into provinces they don't want to go into, and huge a lot of value from that. So if he loses that talisman on the Earth Ring, that's a lot of his strategy against Crab that just evaporates. Still disagree playing it on Tsuki though, but she has only one fate, and one of the Tsukis have been discarded already, if not two. One of those. Where it's his first Kudaka, so he has two more dupes for Kudaka. So I would have played it on Kudaka rather than Tsuki, just because he has more chances to have it staying into play longer. So going Void with the Dreamer defended with the Borderline, we see a fine Katana. It's 5-6. It's 5-5, not 5-6 with the Stronghold and the Katana on the Defender. And a pass from Phoenix. Phoenix still has a pretty good board standing. Do you want to pass your conflict here as Crab? Because you're not going to get that break on Sanpuku, and you're not even going to get the ring, I think. So you're probably better off just defending, right? You just pass your conflict here as Crab, I would say. Yeah. Also, you need to defend those iron mines. Does that Phoenix player play Storm? I would say yes. Yeah, 3 Storms. It would be stupid not to play the Storms. He hasn't. Oh, he has played 1 for now. Okay, so he has 2 left. What is in his hand if he has? Oh, he probably has a Storm. Okay, we see a +2 glory on Tsuki. He's probably just gonna get the ring with that, right? Get the favor with that. So that might say he has a censure. Yeah, I also agree he should have saved the Santo Crusader, yeah. The Vassal, not saving it was the... Yeah, that was a weird play. So we see a Way of the Crab. Interesting. The Stroll Dreamer getting discarded. Well, that's better than nothing, obviously. Like the Dreamer had still one turn left with Katana, so if you can get rid of it, it's fine. But at some point, yeah, that's what happened. Like at some point, by not discarding this Forgotten Library, you're gonna have a shitty flop. And there it is. Why Crab has another Kisela and 2 Crisis Breaker with 19 fucking fates. So as Crab here, I think you just do not extend Kiseda. Do you? Well, maybe you do because yeah, you do. Okay, and then you will just play Crisis Breakers. Yeah, that's one of those. Maybe very likely a second one. Yeah, two of them are a bit weird because it's harder to have them. Like you cannot really use both of them in the same conflict. It's pretty difficult. But it also means you cover the different military conflicts really well with both of these. He did drop the 3 spyglasses already, if I recall correctly. Yeah. They start to have pretty thin conflict decks. So crab player here by the multiple spyglass trigger might get decked pretty fast. Hopefully he has enough honor to buffer that. Phoenix first player, I guess you go fire there, like there's 2 fates. You could go water, but there's like, yeah, we could go water and try to board the Shuichi, but then you will be giving crab another fate. No, I don't think Phoenix plays 5-5. No, none of those. I actually can't because he's keeper. You would need to be seeker for the 5-fires. You cannot have 5-fires and talisman. Thanks God. Phoenix going water. The thing is, like you're going to again give a fate to crab. Of course, once is fine, 2 is okay, but like I think that's the 3rd time he gave fate to crab, and at some point it starts to create some unbalance in the fate pool. And as you can see, it's quite obvious there. Like crab already has literally no problem keeping a bigger board than you, even on charge rather than rebuild. And if you give him more fates, it's just going to make the problem more complicated to deal with over time. I think that the crab player has to pay attention not to run too low on time. He has to play quickly enough. There we see Storm. Phoenix gonna win that ring. Court games, okay, interesting. That's not gonna be enough to avoid Phoenix winning the conflict, sadly. And we see another, okay, so that's all 3 storms. And then we see a garden breaking, okay. I think crab cannot do much more about that. Okay, there we see a talisman. So that's very likely gonna go into shameful. Honoring the borderland defender. Oh, why? So shameful would break down. Oh no, because Tsuki has Dori, so yeah, shameful display honoring the borderland defender, dishonoring the Tsuki. And that's like -4 for the Phoenix. Okay, he prefers to go to upholding, which is fine, because then if you can't really save the province, it's... Well, you don't have to try to save the province, you wanted to break to see the hand. And actually, given that they are bidding low and Phoenix is on 9 cards, it still guarantees that he has some control over the hand size and hand content, so I think that's pretty good. That's a better choice than Shameful, probably. Crab still has to defend for that turn, I guess, until the Phoenix Talisman is away. Yeah, agreed, shoot. Upholding is better. I just didn't thought about it. It's much better. Yeah, getting rid of Censure, definitely. Especially the way the Phoenix player did snipe the favor using his arrow Musaid on the previous turn, kinda indicated that he had a censure in hand. I know I think Crab is gonna take yeah, I kinda disagree on this attack, honestly. Just don't put Kisada in. Well, he's gonna lose the cloud, which for that turn doesn't matter. For next turn, it might be a problem for Phoenix though. And Phoenix cannot really do something on the back conflict because like there is two Crisis Breaker that gonna come into the conflict. Yeah, it's true. Phoenix plays Way of the Phoenix, right? Yeah, he has one off. Why does that matter? He has it in hand, yes. But what for? I mean, it doesn't matter too much here, right? So yeah, no Phoenix can go military, but like that literally doesn't matter because Crab is going to stand the Crisis Breakers. Potentially two of them. So you can't really win that ring at Phoenix. You go just for the fate, I guess. Which means you basically give the favor to Crab rather than having it not moving. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. We totally agree about that. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I was surprised too but I saw it before when I went through the decks. Oh yeah, he specified that he used the one. Oh yeah, okay, the character triggered on himself because you could actually use one to put the other one into the conflict. So we see a reprieve again on Suichi, who is going to stay an additional turn. I think Phoenix has lost the control of the game here. And he's going to lose the talisman too. So no more talisman. Crab is going to be first player, so he just has to smash into the stronghold with, I guess, literally everything. Yeah, only two talisman. Yeah, shoot, I think the crab player here. Like Phoenix would Fushisho might help. Like he can probably stand a good defense here. But Crab still has stuff to play, right? You can't really play the Witch Hunter though, because that's a tire GRI incoming if you do. So you don't have the right to play the Witch Hunter. You don't really have the right to play the Maya Mystic either. So I guess you play everything else. And Phoenix is going to play everything too, because he wants to try to keep that stronghold standing. There has been Watch Commander already, one. And I think the exact time you put the second one and potentially the third one is right now. when you go onto the stronghold. If you have them, obviously, but know that you have broken frostbitten crossings. If you have them, you play them. And it's unlikely you don't have at least one with only two cards left in the deck. They could be the two last cards left in the deck, though. Well, the matchup wasn't crab favored, honestly. But I don't see Phoenix standing a chance against that board. Fushisho gonna get covered. And I guess you just smash in with everything military. Well, you can keep the Yazuki if you want. But I even, yeah, I think you just put everything in. Yeah, that's the last game. And it's the final, it's the match points. Whoever takes that one takes the round. Pretty confident to say that France got it now. Like, you probably put everything but the Yazuki in there. Ah, you even put the Yazuki, okay, yeah. Do not give a shit. It would be good to, okay, it goes political, that's interesting. No, military, but it would be good not to, yeah, forget the covert. Just with Spyglass Herald, I don't think so. I think it's not enough to have Crab Dex challenge. Ooh, that's a low blow. Yeah, Fushisho converted, so he has only two characters to defend, no more storms. Like, there is literally no way he wins that game. That way of the Phoenix looked a bit like just a look. I can play the card, but literally no use. Yeah, I know what you did there. Shoot, like you just played Crane and made like your best not to win too much, so that you could argue that Crane is not powerful enough now. Yeah. Of course, Nushko. Like a few characters died on crab board, like the one that did cost 3 or less. He didn't want it to save them. Well, shit, it would have worked. I think that strategy was very clever. And it might have worked if you didn't throw a game on purpose against a 20 or no deck unicorn, like, well, which wasn't really a 20 or no deck, actually. Well, at some point, he has 20 fates to play, so. And the Phoenix strategy oriented to outlast the crab is obviously not the best one you can choose. Maybe a small part of the world should, maybe, just not all of it. No, honestly, that was one of the best game I saw in quite a long time. And I co-casted with Johnny, which was like just absolutely awesome. Yeah, I think Crab won there. So congratulations to France in a totally unbiased fashion from myself to for winning this round, which started pretty badly. So thank you very much everyone for watching and have a nice evening. Apologies for catching that one a bit late.